service of the nation, I would be proud of it. Every drop of my blood will contribute to the growth of this nation and to make it strong and dynamic. With this note, myself Santwana Marin Justin of grade 9B to host today's event. Today, let's take some time to value our nation and never forget the sacrifices. Feel the freedom. Proud to be an Indian. Wish you all a very happy Independence Day. All good things begin with the blessings of Almighty. So let me welcome Shweta PR of grade 9 to chant the prayer. Shweta, please.
Shweta, can you hear me? Shweta? Shweta, can you hear me? Shweta? Deepa, miss?
Yes, dear, she was just here right now. One moment. Shweta, you're still there. Please unmute and speak, dear.
Shweta, can you hear me, dear? Shweta?
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, dear, please.
प्रकृत्या सुरम्यं विशालं प्रकामं सरित्तारहारै ललालं निकामं हिमाद्रै ललाटे पदे चैव सिन्धु प्रियं भारतं सर्वदा दर्शनीयं धनानां निधानं धरायां प्रधानम् इदं भारतं देवलोकेन तुल्यं यशो यस्य शुभ्रं विदेशेषु गीतं प्रियं भारतं तत् सदा पूजनीयं प्रियं भारतं तत् सदा पूजनीयम् Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. It's an honor for me to introduce the guest of the day, Lieutenant Commander Saipreet Kohli. For more details, I would like to welcome Mrs. Deepa Balakrishnan to deliver welcome speech and introduction of the guest. Ma'am, please.
A very warm namaste to everyone. As Santwana said, that we are celebrating our 75th Independence Day today. And on this day, we always remember our freedom fighters, freedom struggle, and also the sacrifices that they have made. But a question I always have is India truly free? Is India free from racialism, gender inequality, fetal homicide? This list unfortunately goes on. This all points to a single fact that being free from external rule is not freedom. It is a responsibility of each and every citizen to maintain the freedom that we have achieved with great struggle. Hence, I would say, Albert Hubbard has rightly said, responsibility is the price of freedom. Reminding everyone to be a responsible citizen, let me move on to the duty assigned to me, which is welcoming. With immense pleasure and respect, I would like to welcome our guest for today, Lieutenant Commander Saipreet Kohli. Sir basically belongs to Bangalore, completed schooling from St. Joseph's Boys High School, Bangalore. Thereafter joined Indian Naval Academy, Erimala for 4 years of naval training and BTech in Electronics and Communication. Sir was commissioned into the Indian Navy in 2015, where he served on 3 warships, namely INS Kirch, which is a missile corvette in Vishakhapatnam, INS Trishul, which is a guided missile frigate in Mumbai, and INS Shardul, which is a large landing amphibious warship in Kochi. Here, Sir was also awarded the Chief of the Naval Staff Commendation Award for devotion to duty in December 2020. Currently, Sir is pursuing his long course in anti-submarine warfare at Anti-Submarine Warfare School, Kochi. Like everyone, Sir also likes to read books, listen to music, and enjoy playing almost all sports. Sir has represented the Indian Naval Academy in inter-academy sports competition all over India in athletics, aquatics, football, hockey, and lawn tennis. With this description, you might have understood how eminent personality we have with us today. A very hearty welcome to you, sir. Next, let me welcome our principal, Mrs. Sheila Verghese, without whose guidance and timely decisions have made this orientation program possible. In her absence, I welcome her too. I would also like to extend my hearty welcome to both our vice principals, Mrs. Uma P. Menon and Mrs. Mini KG, who are the silent support for all the hard work that we put in. Last but not the least, I welcome my colleagues and my dear children, without whom this program would be incomplete. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I heartily welcome the guests to speak a few words and inspire us. The platform is open for you, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Deepa, for that really warm and respectful welcome. And first of all, I would like to start with saying a very good morning to the principal, both the vice principals, the faculty, and all the students, as well as the CKMNSS Senior Secondary School family for this great honor. I feel very, very happy and very, very privileged to speak to you on our 75th Independence Day. I thought, first of all, I should start off by telling you all about a little story so that we all come onto the same page, especially the kids who are 12 to 14 years old. I was also a 12 to 14-year-old once, and that's why I'm sharing this story with you all, so you all can understand where I'm coming from. As a 12 to 14-year-old in St. Joseph's Boys High School in Bangalore, I was a shy, skinny kid, underconfident, who didn't have that much clarity as to what to do in life. But one thing that my school always provided to me was an amazing education and an atmosphere of sports and extracurricular activities to make me all-rounded. And that is something that's the first thing I want to tell each and every one of you, that you all are immensely lucky to be studying in this school, because as I have interacted and I have seen what you all have and the system that you all are following, it reminds me of my schooling. And I know that everything I am today, it's because of my schooling. So after I completed my education at St. Joseph's Boys High School, I was good at studies, I was good at sports, but there's always that a 12 to 14-year-old, they don't know what they're going to do in life. At least that was my generation. So then my parents, they guided me a little bit, and my school also. And I knew that I had an interest, so I joined the armed forces and I gave the Indian Naval Academy exam. And I got through. And for the next 4 years, I did my naval training and I did my BTech. And after 4 years, I was commissioned into the Indian Navy. What the Indian Naval Academy gave me was, it picked up from where my school left off. My school did the maximum that it could for me and gave me a good education, gave me sports facilities, everything that a person needs to grow. And the Indian Naval Academy just took all of that and made me a well-rounded individual. And that's why I say that my personality and everything, my confidence, all of those things, I have to attribute to the Indian Naval Academy and the Indian Navy, I have to say. So what I am today, it's because of my schooling and the Indian Naval Academy, apart from obviously my parents and my family. So that is how I would say that you should always feel lucky about this school that you all study in. You all are very, very lucky children. Apart from that, next I would like to move on to some personal experiences that I have had in the Navy, so that later I can give you a all-round picture and you'll understand. So after I joined the Indian Naval Academy, like I'll give you an example of what a day in the life of Indian Naval Academy is like. So we used to get up at maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, do either sports, swimming, or horse riding for like the first 1.5 hours. Then we used to have our breakfast and go for our classes, our BTech classes. We used to get done with that by around, I would say, 1:30. Then move for lunch. After that, in the evening, again, we have a period of sports and games. And then the evening, we have a study period. And after that, there'll be dinner and the end of the day. So that was what a day in the life of INA is. One thing is that they don't, like, there's no time for yourself. Maybe the last 1 hour of the day is when you can actually think about what happened in the day. But looking back, I feel that that was one of the happiest days in my life, because I did everything that probably a person of that age could want to do. There was everything as a part of a day, and it was compulsory. So nobody can feel like they're left out, or nobody feels that I'm not getting the opportunity to do that. So from that point of view, I have to say that that is one of the things that comes with joining the defense, no doubt. Then I'll move on to my experiences that I have had in the Navy. So in the Navy itself, I have served on different ships. So each of those ships, there have been so many experiences that even when I talk to my own classmates and I tell them, even when I'm sharing with you, I feel goosebumps when I say it to you, because I'm hearing myself saying it. So I have experienced very, very amazing things in the Navy, such as probably when we think about fire, like gun firing and all of those things, that's a different matter. But I've experienced operations. You meet people of different countries, and there's a lot of interaction. Apart from that, seen many operational exercises. You get to see the world at a very large scale, and you always feel like you're living life on the edge all the time. So from that point of view, also very, very lucky. And that is one of the things that comes with joining the defense. So now that I have spoken to you all a little bit about, what my childhood, schooling, and what my profession is like, I would like to turn it more to you. At the age of 12 to 14, I can tell you one thing, that when I look at you all today, children of 12 to 14 years, there are some good things. I feel there are some bad things, but that is not your fault. It's just that as every generation comes, probably when you look at your parents, you feel that you are more advanced than them, but they had some things that you don't have today. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example. So I feel that today's generation of children, like, your patience is slightly low. I'll give a very practical example. You all are the scrolling generation. So everything has to be, fast moving. All your inputs have to be fast. Everything, information has to be fast. But again, that is not a problem. That is not a fault. That's because I also have less patience than my parents' generation. So that's just the way the world works. But one thing that can help you in life, and one thing that will definitely help you get a lot of balance in your life, is having some sort of routine every day. If you make it a routine every day, then it'll become a habit. Then you'll enjoy doing it. You will enjoy the fruits of whatever effort you all are putting in. I'll give you a simple example. Something as simple as eating healthy. Now, what happened with me is when I was in class 7, 8, 9, I used to play a lot of sports in my school. So by default, our coaches and our PT instructors, they used to tell us that you should not be eating certain things and you should be eating certain things like junk food and all these things. Try to avoid it because your body is just like a machine. What you put in, that much only will come out. So if you put good things in as diet, you will get good output. It is simple. It's just like that. So I think that aspect of healthy eating and avoiding junk food, it came at that age for me, and it stayed with me for life. Because after that, I joined the Navy, and in Navy, it's like every year we have a medical test. That medical test is not only they'll like take a medical test for you, but to make it simple, to get promoted, I have to pass that medical test. Let me give you an example. For example, you're a 9th standard. You have finished your 9th standard final exam. You have done well in the entire exam. But because you're overweight or because you're not in a certain weight category or you're not passed the medical test, you'll not go to 10th standard. It's like that. So in the Navy, it's like that. I'll not get promoted, or a person will not get promoted if they do not pass the medical test. That is how much emphasis and how much importance is given to eating healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, and so on and so forth. So that is one of the things that I learned early in life, and one thing that I would encourage all of y'all to do, that you should have a healthy lifestyle, eat healthy, and as much as possible try to avoid junk food. I told you why. It's quite self-explanatory. Apart from that, another thing that I can't tell you how important it is. Like even if I try to tell you, I won't be able to tell you how important it is for me in life and how important it should be for you all also. This is the time in life at the age of 12 to 14 where your body will listen to you. If you make it your routine, to have some daily exercise, that exercise doesn't have to be running or doing push-ups or something like that. It can be simple, whatever you want it to be. You can go on a walk, you can do cycling, whatever, anything, run, swim, anything, whatever it is. Everybody has to find their convenience, and everybody has to find, their way to handle things. So from that point of view, I would say that exercise in your life is very, very important. And if you don't exercise, maybe till the age of, I don't know what, 18 to 20, maybe even 22, your body will be okay. But after that, you will start to feel the effects. So at this age, if you start exercising, if you make it a part of your life, you will see the effects when you're my age also. When you're 28, when you're 30, when you're 35, 40, 45, you will be in very, very good condition. You'll be in very good shape. And I think I don't have to tell you all how, simple example that, to enjoy the good things in life, you have to be there also for that long. You can get everything that you want in life. You can, you'll at some point in life, you do well in life, you'll have money, you'll have facilities, all of those things will come in life. But you won't have the good health to enjoy those things. So the biggest wealth in life is good health. And I can't emphasize that enough to you all. It is very, very important to have a healthy lifestyle. Apart from that, one of the things that, when I keep discussing with my cousins who are probably your age or maybe slightly elder than y'all, is that I keep saying that they keep asking me that, there are so many issues in our country, and, when will we improve? When will we do better? Look at foreign countries, so I agree. There are many issues in the country, but the only thing that I tell them is, look how far we have come in 75 years of independence. Let me take a simple example. This is our 75th Independence Day. Where was USA? Just an example. Where was USA after 75 years of independence? They were still probably moving from horse carts to vehicles, and they were still fighting over who is black and who is white. I'm saying every country has its problems. I'm not saying USA is a bad country, but I'm saying we are a great nation. At the age of 75, India has just maybe 1.5 weeks ago, you would have seen in the news, that we have launched our first indigenous aircraft carrier. That is a very big deal. What other countries have done in 200 plus years of their independence, we are able to do in 75 years. So we are a great country. There's no doubt about it. But every one of us needs to be responsible, needs to be a good citizen. I'll come to that, as time goes on. I'll come to that, and I'll tell you what I feel about, how we should be as citizens to help our country. But the next point that I would like to tell you all, or rather I would like to share with you all, is the importance of discipline in my life. Now, when we think about defense people and defense people using the word discipline, we just think about probably what maybe drill or something like that, parade. But discipline has a much bigger and much more important reach in our life than we can imagine. I'll just give you a simple example. Discipline is having a healthy routine. That is also discipline. Doing the exercise during the day and having a healthy lifestyle with exercise, that is also discipline. Eating healthy, avoiding junk food, that is also discipline. Being a responsible person, being a good citizen, being a civil citizen, not doing wrong things, not getting involved in wrong things, contributing to your community in some way. All of these things also come under discipline. So if you think about it, discipline is like an umbrella topic. It is like it covers everything. If you are a disciplined person, your life will be in control, no doubt about that, because you have a routine during the day. You eat in the right way, you exercise in the right way, you do your something as simple as studying on time every day, or studying what you have to, homework, whatever it is. All those things also come under discipline. Every single thing is connected to discipline. So if you make discipline a part of your life, not only will your life be in control, but I guarantee you, people will respect you for it. People always respect a person who has discipline in their lives. Why? Because they want to be like them. Because they also want to achieve those things that person is doing in their life. It's simple. When you look at your, let me give you a simple example. All of you must be having some role model. That role model can be anyone. It can be your parent or someone in your family. It can be your teacher. Many times teachers are role models. My first role models were my teachers only. It can be your teacher. It can be, it can be some other person or some personality that you look up to, that you want to be like them when you grow up. If you sit and you actually think about it, what do you like about that person? If you think about it, at some level, it will come to discipline. What amount of discipline they have in their life, because they are able to put all their energy into that thing that they want and be successful. So if you incorporate discipline in your life, I'm not saying that you will achieve what they achieve. Yes, you might. But why limit yourself to them? You might achieve something much greater in life. If you have discipline, you will always reach your maximum potential in life. There's no doubt about that. So discipline is very, very important. There's no doubt about it. Let me give you an example of my own life, just as an experience. So after joining the Navy, it's like typical how it happens. Let me give you an example. After finishing your final exams, you might have some period of like summer holidays. So what does a person do in their summer holidays? You go and you enjoy with your friends, you keep studies aside for some time. You just keep it aside and you say that, yes, this 1 month or this 2 weeks or whatever you get, I'm going to enjoy fully with my friends. I'm going to, go and meet the rest of my family. Maybe you might travel, whatever it is. But similarly, it is in life. Wherever you go in life, as you achieve something, you will always think that, okay, now I've achieved this. Now I deserve a break. So yes, okay, I can do this. Similarly, it was with me also. After I graduated from the academy, after doing my BTech 4 years in Naval Academy, I joined the Navy. So in the Navy, it's not like, you'll get some summer holidays. It's not like that. So, from one place, you move to the next place and you have to start your work there. So I also thought that, I have done so well in academy, so I also deserve some summer holidays. So, but then I realized in that 1-2 months that I was trying to enjoy the summer holidays, but at the cost of not being disciplined. And I saw the effect in my life immediately. And that made me realize that you can go wherever you want in life. You can be in any situation. You can do whatever profession you want. You can do whatever you want in life. But it's very, very important to have discipline every single day so that it becomes a part of your life. And even in your moments of enjoyment, you never cross that line. You should never cross the line where it becomes only fun for you and a problem for anybody else or society or community. So that is very, very important. It's important to be a disciplined citizen and a good person. That is very, very important. Now I'll come to something that is very personal to me, because this is something that I can share with you directly. You remember probably that I said that your generation, the generation of 12 to 14-year-olds nowadays, you all have less patience because of the scrolling generation. But you all are also the generation who are much, much smarter and more intelligent than we are. Much, much more intelligent. And that is why I keep feeling always and saying that whenever I talk to my cousins, like I told you, who are your age, I tell them that, yes, you will have less patience and all that, but you all are the generation who will take this country forward, because you have so much potential. You have much more intelligence, no doubt. You are much, much, much smarter than we are, no doubt. And you all have much more exposure to life, much more knowledge about, you all have much more knowledge about what you want to do in life, how to get there in life, and there's much more exposure. Knowledge is much more easily accessible to you all. I only have one request, that, you can do whatever you want in life. You can follow whatever profession you want in life, but make it a point that you give something back to this country also. It's very important. Maybe it's, the message will go across more because today is Independence Day. But I'm saying the point that I'm trying to get to is that everybody should do something for their country. That doesn't mean joining the defense. If you join the defense, obviously, like when we join the defense, what have we done? The defense is not like a job. It's a service. We serve. That means that we have given our life to this country. But who is that country? That country is you. So if we do something, we do it at the back of our mind, always we're thinking, that We're doing it for our tomorrow. We're doing it for your generation. Why? So that y'all can, with you, we know that y'all are the more intelligent generation, and probably the one that will come after y'all will be more intelligent than y'all. Y'all have to take this country forward, and whatever you do in life, whatever profession, you can just ensure in some small way at least that it gives back to this country. It contributes to this country. Only then are we going to move forward. There's no doubt about that. Our progress and our development of India, I'm saying, depends on where you take it. Depends on in which direction you take your life, so that each one of y'all, that all those things I spoke about, being a disciplined citizen, being a disciplined individual, doing those few correct things in your life, like eating healthy, exercising daily, getting a routine. All of those things make you a disciplined person, so that when you go into life, when you start doing whatever job or profession you choose, there also you will be a disciplined person. You will be looked up to. People will like you. People will respect you for what you do in life. It's very important. And at that point in life, you should look back at your school always, because it has made you the person that you are, and look back at this country to give something back, to contribute to this country. Only then we'll be able to, move forward. There's no doubt about it. Now, let me just, on a very, very basic level, let me tell you something more, some other experiences of mine, some other stories of mine that will make you understand how, for me, how important the country, the Navy, and my school are. It's all connected. So I was deployed in the Gulf region for operation. And even there, when you carry out any exercise with other countries, you meet people of other countries, you realize that the Indians who are settled there, they might do whatever they want, but they always have India at the back of their mind. And sometimes we, staying in this country, we forget, right? We have a tendency to forget how much actually we, in spite of the many, many issues that are there in this country, they might be political in nature, they might be, developmental in nature, or, all of those issues. But apart from all of that, if you look at the picture that affects you, if you look at how much exposure this country gives you, and that I realized when I met those people in other countries. They were Indians who were settled in those countries. But when I met them, I just felt that, they realize the value of India so much more than we do. And they might be working for whatever, some other reason, some other organization. But at the back of their mind, they always have our country. That made me realize, that made me actually understand how much respect and how much regard I had for this country. And, that is one of the important things that you will realize at some point in your life. So I'm just saying, if you have to do something, if you have to contribute in a way, do it for the country. There's no other way that we will go forward. Some other experiences of mine in the Navy that I have got to see thanks to being here is the fact that I have seen some exercises like missile firings and, things like that, that I always feel that this is not something that everybody can do all the time. But when I speak to someone of your age, someone of the age of 12 to 14 years, I always feel that it's much more accessible. This life, the defense life or any other profession, it's much more accessible to you, to y'all and to you in this country than it is when I speak to defense personnel in other countries. They tell us how much you have to, you have to be in a certain kind of line, you have to think in a certain way, you have to be in the right political mindset. Only then, it's very, very extreme, it's very narrow there. Here I keep feeling in our country that we don't realize it, but Take the defense only. In the defense, I can look to my right and I can look to my left. The counterparts with me, they are, it has nothing to do with which religion we are from, what background we come from, what school we come from. It doesn't matter. But today when we are here together, we are all at the same level. It does not matter. That's why I say that we are lucky to be in a country where, yes, we have issues, but also when it comes to doing something for the country, no one will ask what religion you are, what society you come from, which class of society you come from. It doesn't matter. All those things will be left behind if you are a person who people will respect, and they'll respect you for being a disciplined person, for being a good person, for being good at your job. So that's why I said discipline is like an umbrella topic, and it touches every part of our lives. In the end, I would just like to say that, I would also like to tell you how, just because today is Independence Day, I would like to tell you how Independence Day is celebrated in the Navy. So in the Navy, if you go to Mumbai or you go to Visakhapatnam, then there will be all the officers and the sailors, that is all the naval personnel. We have an Independence Day parade. Maybe you would have seen it on TV, the Independence and Republic Day parade that happens in Delhi. In a similar way, in every naval station in Mumbai, Vizag, Kochi, Delhi, Goa, Chennai, all of these places, Karwar, we have a parade on the morning of Independence Day, and all of us wear our white formal uniform, our ceremonial uniform. This is what I am wearing. This is the everyday working uniform. This is what we go to work in. But on the day of the parade, when there are many times different dignitaries come and review the parade, but when we go for that parade, we wear our full white closed collar formal ceremonial white uniform. So, and we have a parade, and that feeling of doing that parade is something else. On that day, you feel like that, you feel you are elevated to another level. You are somewhere else, you feel on that day, just because of that parade, seeing so many people in those whites, being in that formation, doing that drill. It's an amazing feeling. It's just something else. So that's the way that we celebrate Independence Day. And on a lighter note, on a more casual note, after we get done with the parade, all of us sit together and we have our breakfast together. It's a very family feeling. It's a very kind of it's a very close bonding that we have. And on days like this, just Independence Day and Republic Day, whenever we have a parade like that, it's just a it's coming together of family. So I just want to tell you that family can be anything. The very fact that we have this interaction going on between us on the Independence Day, it's an interaction between my family, that's the Indian Navy, and your family, that is CKMNSS. So I'm just very, very happy to be interacting with you all. And maybe on a parting note and in conclusion, I would just like to tell you all that we depend on you. You're only 12 to 14 years today, but 10 years from now, when I will be 38, 40 years old, and you will be 24 years old, 22, 24 years old, that is when this country will be depending on you. That is the day you will have to give back to this country. If, yes, at 75 years, India is doing great compared to where other countries were after 75 years of independence. Today, those countries are doing great. They are more than 200 years of their independence. But to reach them and to be more than them, when we become 200 years of independence, depends on your generation. It depends on you. This country going forward, the progress of this country, and everything that we are doing as people, and everything that we are doing as the defense, and everything that we are doing for this country is for our tomorrow, and our tomorrow is you. It depends on you being a disciplined person today. bringing all those small changes in your life, taking out junk food, including exercise in your routine, becoming a disciplined individual, becoming a good citizen, so that when the time comes to do your profession at the age of 24, 25, when you start working, at that time, this country can depend on you, and we will depend on you. You are our tomorrow, and we have faith on you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Just now, you have shared your experience. Your story about childhood was amazing. We are also very lucky to have such a platform. So, when you're sharing your experience with the children like us, you are inspiring us to become a person like you. So, now we will have a small interactive session. So, firstly, I invite Meera MR to ask the first question. Meera MR of grade 9.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Meera.
Hi, sir. I'm Meera MR of grade 9C. Well, may I ask you a question?
Absolutely, please.
Could you please advise us the opportunities for women in the Indian Navy?
Absolutely, Meera. Good question. So, right now is the best time. It is the best phase for women to join the Indian Navy because there are so many opportunities. In specific, I will come to it. But otherwise, in the Navy, what we follow is we equal opportunity for everyone. So, in a branch which has male officers and female officers, we don't see any difference. That is one thing. Apart from the obvious fact that if wherever you go in life, in the corporate or outside or wherever, I don't know if you face, I can't comment on it because I have not experienced it firsthand. Maybe it's not there, but maybe, things like pay and promotions, all those things might differ. But in the Indian Navy, one thing that we don't see at all is, the difference between male and female. We don't. So from that point of view, we have progressed. The Navy has progressed to a stage where, both genders are absolutely equal. That is point one. Now, coming to your question, you asked about the different opportunities for people in the Navy. There are many avenues, right from, surface warfare to we are going to a stage in the Indian Navy slowly where women will also be on board ships like other foreign navies who have been doing it from before. We are also progressing to that stage. That is like the maximum that you can achieve. That means that once women come into the operational phase and sector of the Indian Navy, there is nothing stopping a woman from becoming Chief of Naval Staff. That is the highest post that a naval officer can be, that a person can be in the Navy. There's nothing stopping a woman. Apart from that, there are many avenues and many branches that women can join. So from that point of view, I would like to say that if there is a will or if you want to join the defense, among the three forces, definitely I would say the best force for a woman is the Indian Navy. It's a very professional force. It is, we see your professional, we don't see your gender. It's profession that we see. How good you are at your work, how dedicated you are, your passion. I don't think anything else needs to be said.
Okay, next question by Nandita Krishnakumar. Nandita Krishnakumar of grade 8.
Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm Nandita Krishnakumar of grade 8C.
Good morning, Nandita.
Okay. And my question is that, sir, who is your favorite personality and why so?
My favorite personality. Okay, my favorite personality. If I have to select from, okay, for 1 minute, I'll keep profession aside. There are many people who I admire in the Navy and in defense. But if I have to select people from outside, okay, let me give you a very, very maybe simple example. I'll give you 3 people. Okay. One is a tennis player. His name is Roger Federer. That is because I admire him because he is not only now he is 40 years old, so he's reaching retirement. But when the time that I grew up, when I was your age, he was everything that a person could want to be in life. Apart from being the best tennis player, that is his profession, he's also a great human being, good person, disciplined person, and an out and out, gentleman. So he's one person that I really, really admire. Second person is an actor. I think all of you all would know him. His name is Hrithik Roshan. Not because of he is a good actor, yes, but apart from that, the amount of work and dedication that this person has, maybe not a lot of people know this, but for a simple, like if he has to have a dance sequence in a movie, he will practice 16 hours at home, 16 hours of just that one, so that he can come and not waste other people's time. He'll come, he'll finish his work, and he'll go. He's a very, very dedicated person, another person that I respect. Third person that I have great, great regard for, and I think all of you would know him, in at least in India. Like he is a pretty big name, and he is the chess player Vishwanathan Anand, because he is someone who, as a person, yes, does not differentiate between small and big in life. He can be sitting opposite a person who is 12 years old and playing chess against him, or he can be sitting opposite a person who is 40 years old and challenging him, but he will give equal respect to that person. And apart from that fact, he is, amazing at his job and amazing as who he is as a person, chess player. So these are 3 people who I respect and who I look up to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Gautam Prasannan of grade 9. Now it's your turn.
Namaste, sir. I am Gautam. Sir, my question is, can you describe a time when your work was criticized?
I'm sorry, Gautam. You wanted me to describe a time when?
Was there any time when your work was criticized?
When my work was what?
Criticized.
Okay, criticized. Okay. Nice.
Yes,
Thank you, Gautam. Yes, there were not only one time, maybe many times when your work will be criticized. And that is a part and parcel of life. See, one thing you have to understand in life is, as you grow up, probably you will understand this more. But as children, I can tell you, what is under your control is what you can affect. You can only make those things successful. You can only achieve certain things. You can only make those people happy who are under your control. Apart from that, if I leave my work, if I leave my job and I start making the entire world happy, then my work will always suffer. And the person who is directly depending on me for that work, he'll not be happy. So one thing that probably I can word of advice for for this question, which is actually a very deep question. And if I get into it, I can talk about it for half an hour. But if I have to say it in a simple way, I'll just say that, Gautam, in life, always remember that you do your work well, you be a good person, you leave the rest. Because those people who have to see that you are a good person and he does good work, he is good at his job, he is a good student, he is a nice person, he is a good boy, those people will see it. Other people who have to criticize, they will criticize. So yes, if I have to speak from personal experience, many times in my life I have been criticized, but that has never stopped me from continuing the good work that I do. Yes, if the work that I am doing and the person who is directly responsible to me, if he says that yes, you are doing something wrong, always consider the other person's advice. One thing in life should always be open to is the person who is giving you, who are you are responsible to, they will give you advice, like your teacher will give you advice. Listen to that advice, because listen fully to what they have to say. If you start saying something in before a person finishes talking to you, then you have closed your ears to what that person is saying. You have closed the gate. After that, nothing will enter. Always listen to what a person has to say fully, think about it, then reply, and then take their advice. So in my life also, many people have criticized me, but I was very lucky in my life that even when they criticized me, they told me that yes, you're a good chap, you have a good outlook towards life, but the way you're doing the work is not correct. So they were criticizing it, but in a good way, and I've always taken that advice well.
Jyotika, you may come up with the next question.
Namaste, sir. I'm Jyotika R of grade 8. Sir, on your course of achieving your dreams, was there a time when you felt like quitting, thinking that you won't be able to do that? And if so, how were you able to overcome that emotion?
Okay, very nice question, Jyotika. Actually, this is something that all of us will face in life, definitely. And I have also faced this in life many times and in many situations, especially in defense, because defense is it's little challenging. So, and whichever profession you go to, it will be challenging for you, because in order to do something better in life, you have to cross certain hurdles. You have to struggle a little bit. Only then the excitement of achieving that thing will be there. When you know that yes, I worked hard for this thing, that's why I reached there. From that point of view, yes, many times in my life I felt that how is this going to happen? Why did I choose this? Could I have done something else? Maybe this is too tough. Whenever in life you want to give up, Jyotika, I'll always tell you one thing. Just think back whenever you're in a situation or whenever you have decided that I want to do this and you're struggling with that and you want to give up, just think about that moment when you wanted that thing very badly. Like in the defense, when there's so many times I wanted to, I felt demotivated, I wanted to give up. Then I remembered that point in my selection board when I got through for SSB and joined Indian Naval Academy. At that point, how many gods and demigods I prayed to that please select me. I want to join defense. I always remember that moment. So whenever you feel like giving up, just remember at one point in my life, I prayed and I really, really wanted to do this in my life. And that when you think about that moment, then you will come back and you will think that yes, every situation can be handled, every obstacle can be crossed. I can achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve, because at one point in my life I really, really wanted this. It'll then you'll realize that I'm not feeling bad also about being here. Now I made this decision, I have to go and get it now.
Thank you, sir.
Ratnaprabha, please. Ratnaprabha of grade 9.
Ratnaprabha, can you hear me? Okay, Santana, you please call Daksh.
Okay, ma'am. Daksh PB.
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, dear, please.
We are
Okay,
able to
sir.
hear.
Sir, namaste, sir. I am Daksh PB of grade 7. Can I share a question with you, sir?
Absolutely, Daksh.
My question is this: which was your most inspiring moment in which you had felt very proud to be a Navy officer?
The most proud moment that I felt, I have had 2, 3 moments like this. I'm lucky in my life that I have felt this at 2, 3 times in my life. So the first time was when I was in academy, in a naval academy, and um, in my last like semester, that's like graduating term. It's like 12th standard. If you think about school, it's like 12th standard, like that. My last semester when I was finishing my engineering and graduating from Indian Naval Academy, at that time I was academy cadet captain. Academy cadet captain is like, it's like head boy. So but in Naval Academy, the academy cadet captain is the person who leads the parade on the last day when all the parents are sitting. So on that day when I was standing there and I was leading the parade and I saw my parents, that day I felt very, very proud, and I felt like I have done my parents proud. And all the times that I struggled in academy and I used to call them and I used to say that I'm feeling it very tough. So at that time, that was one moment where I felt very, very proud. Apart from that, when I joined the Navy, many points when I felt very privileged, very lucky to be a naval officer. When you see the amount of exposure that the Navy gives you, right from exercising with other navies, going to different countries, representing your country there as a naval officer, I was very, very lucky, felt very privileged. And on a ship also, when we have carried out, not I have, but when the ship has done something like missile firing, that time you realize that one person is so small, but 200 people together for one cause becomes so strong. So those are the points in my life that I felt that I was very lucky and very privileged to be a naval officer.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daksh.
Ratnaprabha, now it's your turn.
Namaste, sir. I'm Ratnaprabha B, grade 9. I would like to ask you a question that hit my mind. May I?
Please go ahead, Ratnaprabha.
I heard that you are an avid reader and you love to read books. So, is there any book which you would like to prefer for us at the age group of 12 to 14 to read?
Definitely, yeah. At the age of 12 to 14, I love two kinds of books. One is fiction, and the other is history, military history. That is because I am in Navy, so I have the interest to read military history. Otherwise, at the age of 12 to 14, I was reading fiction. I'll tell you why this helped me. It helped me because it made my vocabulary better. It made my language grasp better. It made all of those things better. It made communicating better. Everything in your language per se will become better if you read. So I read a lot of fiction at the age of 12 to 14, but some of the favorite books that I have read, I'll probably tell you. My favorite book in fiction is a book by Jeffrey Archer called Cain and Abel. It's a beautiful book. It's a very, very, very sort of involved book that will keep you involved. Cain and Abel, definitely very good book. I read a lot of Enid Blyton, Secret Seven, Famous Five, all of those things. And even from a point of view of, I think, reading comics for children of the age of 12 to 14, I was reading a lot of Asterix and Obelix. It's a comic, but it has a lot of, it has a lot of language grasping elements in it. So apart from Asterix Obelix, I was reading a lot of fiction, a lot of Jeffrey Archer. All of Jeffrey Archer's books I like, but apart from that, my favorite books are Cain and Abel, Prodigal Daughter. All of these are my favorite books.
Thank you, sir.
Varsha, please come up with the next question.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Myself, Varsha of grade 9. I would like to ask a question. May I?
Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. We have negative sides and positive sides in our life. So, how to overcome the negatives? So, from your life experience, would you like to express some of it?
Sure, absolutely. See, in life, one thing I can tell you is, as you keep growing up, there will always be lows and there will be highs. There will be low points and there will be high points. Sad moments, happy moments. In the sad moments, you have to realize that don't let that sadness pull you down so much that you're not able to be happy again. That is one thing I can tell you. Always realize that this sadness will not be there forever. This sadness is also a phase. It will pass, and then the things will get better. Situations will get better. Your mood will get better. You will start feeling better. But that feeling better and doing something to improve your mood is in your control. Nobody else can make you more happy than you can make yourself happy by doing something and improving your situation and improving your mood. So if you feel at any point in your life that you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, you're feeling like low points, negative points, always one thing to realize is this will get over. This is just a phase. It will get over. That you have to tell yourself. Second is you have to ask yourself, what can I do to feel better? What can I do to improve my mood? What can I do to improve my situation? The present moment is you can just to take your mind off what is happening. You can indulge in some activity that makes you happy, like a hobby. Some people sketch, some people paint, some people exercise, some people take a run, some people, it can be whatever. Some people read something, listen to music, it can be whatever. I'm saying that for the present moment will improve your mood. It will improve your mood to a point where now you can start thinking, okay, I was sad because of this reason. What can I do in my life to improve my mood and to become better at what I do? Then once you think about what that activity is or what that thing is that will improve your situation in life, you'll be able to improve it. Always remember, negatives are a phase. It will pass by.
Thank you, sir.
Believe it or not, I'm still struggling to find the right word to properly describe you. Thank you so much for motivating us. Thank you for this inspiring speech, and this we won't never ever forget. Now, I would like to welcome Nandana Pramod of grade 9 to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of CKM family. Nandana, please.
Showing gratitude is one of the most simplest yet most powerful things we can do for each other. With this quote, a humble namaste to one and all. I'm Nandana Pramod of grade 9B, here to deliver the vote of thanks for this great event. On behalf of CKM family, I express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Lieutenant Commander Sir Saiprit Kohli, for taking his precious time for our school's Independence Day event. I must say that your story motivated each and every one of us. We have realized how to have a balanced life with health and for sharing our life experiences with all of us. We learned how to enjoy everything in life and made us realize that health plays an important role in our lives. And your sincere love for the nation is a great inspiration for us children and all. Thank you, sir. We are fortunate to be assisted by our principal, Ms. Sheila Vargas, for being a constant support to all of us. I thank our vice principals, Ms. Uma PK and Ms. Mini KG, for helping us throughout the program. I thank all the teachers and all my dear friends for showing their humble presence in today's program. Let me conclude my gratitude to everyone with the quote, freedom in mind, faith in words, pride in souls. Let's salute the nation. Thank you, everyone. Jai Hind.
Thank you. So now let me conclude with a famous quote by Bob Dylan. I think of a hero as someone who understands the degree of responsibility that comes with his freedom. I repeat, I think of a hero as someone who understands the degree of responsibility that comes with his freedom. Let's all be heroes and understand that with freedom comes with responsibility. And hence, let's be a responsible citizen. Santwana Marine Justin, signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Deepa Miss.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this inspiring speech. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Children, you may acknowledge the guests and leave the session, please.